Today on the Miniature Models Podcast, we annoy the design team at the Railroad Back Shop and discuss some of the trains that were announced over the years but never left the drawing board. Which ones do you wish could have hit the main line? And what trains do we think should get a chance to strut their stuff? All this and so much more. So get your ticket from the station, grab a seat, and make sure you don't miss the train. All aboard! Good evening, everyone, and thanks for tuning into episode 78 of the Miniature Models Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Matt Rochford, and with me, as always, are my co-hosts, Matt Z, John Schwartz, and Johnny. How are we doing tonight, gentlemen?
Doing great. Glad to be back. How's everyone else?
I'm doing well as well. How are you guys tonight?
We're doing pretty good, man. I'm in the middle of doing a deal here. No surprise. But no, we're doing pretty good.
Matt Z wheels and deals while he does the show.
Something like that.
Are you in the back streets somewhere doing a deal? What are you?
Hey,
what are you doing?
Like Springsteen, you know? I'm out in the back streets.
You love this kind of thing.
You want to buy some of this, huh?
You wait until we're recording to start doing it. You won't do it until we are.
Oh no, I've been doing it the whole time. I'm just finalizing it now.
Hey kid, I can get you a good deal on PS1 box cas.
Hey kid, you want to buy some smoke fluid? I got all kinds of flavors.
You want super thick?
I got some black licorice, you know.
I think I would pepper spray you at that point.
off the market flavors here.
I got the experimental anchovy flavor, you know.
Oh my god, he said it. He said it.
Pizza? What about pizza?
Oh my god.
Did they ever make pizza? Did anybody ever make pizza?
So, no. We don't need that.
Okay. Just coming up with ideas.
And people would, yeah.
Like the idea of dairy and protein and smoke fluid.
Oh yeah. Anything with yeast. No yeast.
Ugh.
That word. It sounds like what it is, like yogurt. That's a Carlin. That's like a Carlin thing. Yogurt.
So tonight's episode, we're just going to be talking about what flavors of smoke fluid there should be.
We always do. It's in like every episode. We can't help but talk about smoke fluid. It's some like weird fixation we have.
Actually, tonight's episode is a special request from our community. As we always say, we make this show for you guys. If you have an idea or a topic you'd like for us to discuss, please let us know on our community Discord. And of course, we already kind of talked about what we were going to, mainstream for the show tonight. We're going to talk about maybe some of the stuff over the years that just never left the drawing board, never got made, stuff that maybe we wish, in our dreams we could run on our railroads, but alas, it never got out of the manufacturing department. Well, let's go ahead and do our normal check-in. And Johnny, what you been doing this week?
Oh man, it's so hard to think of all the things I've done regarding trains over the past week or so. I'm not sure if I mentioned this in the last show. I did acquire some third rail Black Widow F units from DJ. They are fantastic. Not that I don't love my MTH ones I got at last York, but these ones with the fixed pilots and all the intricate detail, they are beautiful. The only thing I cannot stand is I hate the ER sounds of them. They're terrible. So they will be getting Blue Nami once funds are available. But the big thing that I actually did it with you, Matt, we went over to the train bunker and we played around with some new tech or some experimental tech regarding the three-railed world. We worked with Rafe and Tomix, who have been trying to integrate the proto throttle into three-rail. It's a bit of a Frankenstein to get working, but in short, you can have the proto throttle work in conjunction with JMRI, which has compatibility with Legacy and TMCC. So it allows for you to run legacy engines with that with the proto throttle, which is that DCC controller that you might have seen on the market that looks like a diesel control stand with all the different notches and all that stuff. But it was really cool. It's not perfect. but it's very interesting to use, and I can definitely see how it would be fun in regards to like switching or something like that. But kudos goes to Tomix for having the know-how to get that, get us on the right path for that and helping us get that supported. To Rafe for funding the project, and then oh my god, Matt, you did the most work I think just trying to get all of this stuff set up on that computer.
So I'll just segue from there because I was obviously part of that group that was working on getting that stuff set up. I actually had a blast. It was fun. I like logic puzzles like that. I like kind of working with tech. And when it was all said and done and it was actually working, I was like, this is pretty cool that you can integrate all of this stuff. And you just don't, it not only works with the, with the big O, engineer remote, but you can use your phone too. Like if you install any of the mobile apps there that'll work with DCC, you can certainly, run your Team CC legacy engines as well, and they work just as fine. So it's not just for using that special device. You can use if you're running JMRI with the server going and you got all that integration, you can use your phone to run your stuff too. Not that you can't, you can run your stuff now on the phone with Bluetooth, but with old Team CC stuff that doesn't have access like that, well, there you go. Now you can use your phone too. So if you're a big lover of using your phone running stuff, well, this may be a solution for you.
I think that's a really good point.
Matt Z.
Oh, sorry. I'm going to cut in real quick. You make a really good point, that Matt. I completely forgot about that because you kind of got overshadowed by the whole proto throttle thing. The fact you can use the apps that come with JMRI and not have to depend on like everyone bringing, it's a club led. Everyone has to bring their legacy remote and bring it back and blah, blah, blah. It's having a more, I guess, in-depth app to use at a club layout like that, an alternative to the Lion Chief app or to using like the old legacy app from days ago. That's really cool. I might have to play with that more. I didn't even think about that. But throwing over to you, Matt Z, what you been up to, man?
I've been busy on the lab. As a matter of fact, I can't believe it. All these shows I'm saying, I gotta get back to it and all of this and that. But I got back to it. I did a little work. A couple weeks ago, I got into some streetlights from Lance, our buddy, and I went ahead and installed those last night, and I wired a couple of them up today, and they look really good. They're the Lionel ones. He had them converted to LEDs, and they're really nice. I got some more to put in, but I did that, slowly but surely. Progress is progress, I guess. But we got, plenty of more stuff to do. A lot of new trains on the way from the likes of, Matt R. and Johnny over here. And then I got some stuff from Sid. And today I got in some Amtrak Horizon cars. And man, if you don't have these things, you got to get some. They're nice, really nice cars. But so plenty of cool things down the pipe. And I'm really excited to see what we got going on next.
Mr. John Schwartz.
We're sorry. You have reached a number that has been disconnected or is no longer in service.
I have done next to nothing recently. Seriously, I have done one thing. I just have my what do you call it? The what is the name of the freaking engine? The Mercury special coming from Mr. Muffin, the blacked out Empire State Express Mercury engine is on its way. I think as of this recording, it's getting delivered tomorrow. So I am extremely excited about that. Other than that, really not doing anything major. Just been trying to keep on top of the podcast Instagram account. You can go follow us over there at Miniature Models Podcast on Instagram. But other than that, really haven't been doing a whole lot. I am super excited to do some more stuff with that account, and definitely follow us on there. There's some good stuff happening. A little shameless plug for the podcast there. But other than that, yeah, nothing crazy going on with me on my end.
Looking to expand your collection? Check out Trainz.com. Trainz is your go-to place for new and used model railroad products. They have everything ranging from engines, rolling stock, parts, track, and scenery. If you need it, they probably have it. With new discounts being added daily, you'll be sure to find something you like. Plus, Trainz offers a newsletter which keeps you up to date on new items, discounts, and upcoming promotions. We've been using Trainz for years, and we highly recommend their stellar service. What's really cool is you can also collect points by buying Trainz and using them on future purchases. With their awesome rewards program, you can earn points on every purchase that you can use for future discounts. Dedicated modelers can also join their private card membership to get exclusive access to new listings, earn 5 points per dollar spent, and unlock great benefits like no questions asked returns. Trainz not only sells trains, but also buys them too. If you got a large collection or are interested in downsizing and making some cash, you can head on over to sellmytrains.com. It doesn't get easier than that. You can find them using our affiliate link, www.trainz.com/MMOP, or if you want to use our one-time promo code MMOP, you can get $10 off a single purchase on the Trainz.com website. So check out Trainz.com and start expanding your collection today.
So before we get started, I just wanted to, because our topic is going to be talking about, canceled, never released stuff. But to start us off, let's maybe each of us will go around the bin here and just kind of name a model that you're surprised or thankful that was made, over the, whatever you want to say, last 50 years, 30 years, 20 years. John, I'll go and start with you, man.
Alrighty. Let's see here. I am thankful for the fact that Lionel's standard little mid-sized steam engine, which is a Alco 10-wheeler, this is a very selfish thing, but I'm thankful that it's based on a New York Central F12. So I can have a very, very, very road-specific, mid-sized, run-of-the-mill, everyday steam engine made ready to run as a beautiful model in diecast. And as of this catalog, they're finally giving us a really good version of it with the correct font, correct coloring, and what's hopefully going to have really good sounds and running characteristics. So that is something I'm extremely thankful for.
Excellent. We'll just work our way backwards here. So Matt Z, how about yourself?
Man, if I had to think of one, I don't know. This will be talked about later on in the episode, I'm sure, but probably the Uncharted J, if I had to guess. You want to talk about unique engines that were only done once, and I at some point want to do a video on a lot of these because I recently just traded my Uncharted J, as a matter of fact. But nevertheless, it's a really cool engine that everybody thinks, oh, J, they think 611. Well, 611 is one of them, but there's many others that were of the same or similar variety, or like I said, the Uncharted version. So I mean, without all the streamlining and all of that, you get to see the raw engine, and it's completely different. It's almost jarring when you have the two next to each other, but definitely a very cool one for sure.
Matt Z, sorry to jump in here. Matt Z, you're wrong. The only steam engines that exist are the Daylight, Strasbourg 90, the Big Boy, 611, the New York Central Hudson, and all the ones that are just popular and/or preserved. No other steam engine exists.
You got it.
It's deep faking.
I thought O-scale was just nothing but K4s.
Also K4s, yes, of course.
Matt seemed a little disappointed that you didn't say Subways.
Really Subways are cool.
I mean, because that's all we ever talk about on this podcast.
I know,
Subways.
right?
So
why would we talk about anything else?
What else is there?
I'm resigning.
You're fired. Johnny, you are over.
For me, I think everyone can probably guess what this is, and that would be the not just F40s, but Metra F40s. So very, very thankful that those were made once or twice by K-Line, and then obviously MTH made them over the span of 15 years or something like that. So thank you, MTH and K-Line, for making those. Johnny, how about you?
And Atlas by extension now, technically.
That's true. Very good. Yeah, good point.
What am I really thankful that we've had in the last couple of years? I think the one that kind of epitomizes it in terms of my collecting even though I don't have one, is probably the Vision Line GS1s. Kind of similar to what Matt Z said. You get, when you think of the GSs, you think of the GS4s, the GS2s, bright paint schemes. You don't really think of the GS1s that came before them, which were the unstreamlined workhorses, and they were more common than you think. You could see them a lot on passenger service, freight service, or on commuter service for the SP. And Lionel kind of gave us, really spoiled the SP guys when they did these. I mean, for goodness sake, they did every GS possible. But the GS ones is really special because not only did they do the engine that was on Streamline, they didn't just go, oh, we'll be lazy and we'll just reuse the GS2 tenders because that's what they got rebuilt into. But they also did the Vandy tender as well, which is not a tender that you see Lionel using with anything else, which was surprising because they're such a common SP tender. So now they've tooled that up in for the GS1, maybe they can reuse it for maybe a cab forward moving forward or any other engines. But that's one that I'm very, very happy that they did. And it gives me some hope that they'll maybe do some more road specific engines like for the SP. Maybe an MT. Who knows? Would I like it more than the third rail one? I don't know, but it'd be cool to see it. But yeah, that's probably my pick.
Awesome. Great picks for everybody. So, Johnny, I'll let you go ahead and kind of take the reins here with and kind of drive the rest of the episode. You're very much more knowledgeable on the front of products that were made or actually products that were going to be released but never released or got canceled. So I'll hand over the mic to you,
Yeah,
sir.
sure thing. So as Matt said earlier tonight, this was actually a request and a topic came up by our community Discord server. And it actually started with someone mentioning a cab forward that Lionel had released many, many years ago. And it was also in that same catalog, I believe, was when the Legacy Dryfist was first announced, but didn't actually get to be made due to some complications with that. But that started a spark in our community of, oh, well, what else has been made over the years, and what things could we almost have had? So Matt Z's actually done a lot of hard work for us tonight and put down some of his personal highlights and some of our personal highlights of things that weren't made over the years. So let's start with that. What are things that we've seen announced in catalogs in the past couple of years that we're just like, oh man, we're so close, but we never got it. I'll open up to Matt and John. What do you guys wish we could have had made over the years?
Man, I put the list together, and as I was putting it together, it's like, man, there's a lot of cool things that we're so close to having, and one of them that I still am shocked that was never done. It's between two, really. The first one is the E60 electric. Third rail came announced that one. The MTH announced it in 2000, and a little tidbit on that was Johnny and John. You guys would probably know this. The early MTH Proto 2 train sets had the Listen to Protosound 2, and one of the engines in there was the file for what I would imagine would be the E60. It had a brand new prime mover, really, really unique sound file. So I'd imagine that was the file that was going to be for this engine. But it was never made, unfortunately, which is really too bad. And then, like I said, third rail, they put the orders up when it never took off, which is really too bad because who knows if we'll ever see one from a model manufacturer. It'd be nice. The other one is another one that I know our buddy Bryce, he's trying to get somebody to make it, is a Metro liner. That would be fantastic as well, for your Northeast Corridor trains, early stuff. That's one to have. But who knows? Maybe someday they'll see the light of day.
John, what models do you want to see made, man? Or which ones are you personally going, why could we have it? We were so close.
Well, I'm going to go extremely off-brand and mention a New Haven model. Gigantic surprise there. Now, it's kind of cheating because we did technically get it in O-scale. It just wasn't the way that we originally thought it was going to be. And actually, I don't actually know which one came first. I feel like it might have been the MTH one, but it could have been a concurrent thing or one just before, just after. But the MTH cataloged, or was going to catalog in, I think, 05, the New Haven i5 Hudson. Now, obviously, we have the Brass Weaver one, which exists, one of which I owned, and at some point want to own at least 2 or 3 more. And they're great locomotives, but I just think about what we could have gotten in terms of a sound file. We already have some great PFAs from them for some of their Rail King engines, surprisingly. But just thinking about what we could have gotten with a die-cast i5. Anytime you get like a die-cast streamliner, it's so special. But just knowing the quality that MTH would have put into that, it would have been something really, really nice to have seen. And, just having a really durable engine. It's great having a brass locomotive, but they can be, as we all know, they can be finicky. So that would have been nice to see. That would probably be my top pick for something. But again, at least we still got one from Weaver. They gave us one. In terms of anything else, man, I really trying to think what else would have been a good thing to have. I know what it would have been. The Lionel, again, another thing that we have technically gotten from another company, but the K2, the Norfolk and Western Baby J K2 Mountain. Because obviously we got Third Rail. They gave us their version of one, but there was something about how the Lionel one looked, because we did have the sample made. I think Eric even reviewed it on his channel, didn't he?
He did.
Didn't he get?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, I remember seeing that, and that tooling just looked so nice. There's something. The Third Rail one is fantastic, but the Lionel one has a certain how can I describe chunkiness? That's sort of a cringe word, but just sort of like that look to it that was very solid. Where that would have been a really nice thing to see. And being a brass hybrid, it would have had a really good, reliable chassis, hopefully. And just the tooling on that just looked really good. And they still have it too. They do still have it. If you see videos of the headquarters, you'll see it in cases. It does still exist. So I'm really hoping at some point they want to do another run at that. Ryan, wink, wink. You're probably listening. We've hinted at you before about this. But yeah, and again, we did get that in Third Rail. So technically, this is just me being nitpicky about what company I want to make. Well, if they'd done this, I would have, But other than that, I mean, there's some weird one-offs that could have been done, and I'm sure we'll get into those. But those are my two main ones. I would say would have been cool to see different takes on them.
The i5, we kind of got teased with that a little bit, because I know JDS did one, and then what was it, last year, I believe Sid got one, and he did a PS2 conversion on that. So it would have been basically what we would have gotten, which is too bad. I think those are announced both at the same time, or like you said, very one or the other, but basically the same time frame.
I think the MTH catalog actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I think they actually used a Weaver one in the photo.
They may have.
I think they did.
I think you make a very, very good point, John, in regards to saying like, well, I know Third Rail made it, but it'd be cool to have a Lionel one. I think that's a lot of an argument that we hear a lot of time when people are like, oh, well, I wish I could have this engine, and then there's always someone quick to reply, well, Third Rail made it. I'm guilty of doing that too. And we have to remember that, yeah, it's cool to see Third Rail make it. It's a brass model. But at the same time, you have, brass has a reputation of looking very great, but not running very well. And that's not saying all models. It's just sometimes you have that happen. Or in the case of what I was trying to get at there, which was, yeah, you can say Third Rail made it, but good luck having a chance of finding one. Or, how many were even made to begin with. It's near next to impossible to find it sometimes when it comes to those. I'm still hunting down certain Third Rail items. I'll probably die before I see a Golden Gate Depot Lark, for example. So it's really important to have, some of the mainstream manufacturers like Lionel and MTH do their own versions, because it makes it more readily available for the market. And that's another reason why some people are so, a little bit disappointed when those don't get made, because yeah, sure, it was made by, Third Rail, but not everybody can jump on the bandwagon of being able to pre-order and afford that extra price for such a premium product.
From an HO perspective, if I had a nickel for everybody that said, well, they made that in brass, I'd be like a millionaire by now.
Oh,
I swear.
you would have so much fun hunting down a brass engine that cost you too much money with a bunch of foam rot all over it, so it looks like it's been left under the water for 10,000 years.
Yeah. Again, and like pricing that's like more than O scale trains too. So.
Oh yeah, but like at the same time, you'd be hard pressed to find something that wasn't made in some capacity in HO. Like even in
No,
like
that's true.
narrow
That's true.
gauge and stuff. Like you can find it if you work hard enough. I feel like, but yeah, no, I totally feel you. Those they can get absolutely insane. But you know, everybody has that one model where it's like you will pay whatever it costs to get it, like no matter what. Everybody's
Yep.
got that one piece.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I don't want to wear, I don't really want to wear my HO goggles tonight on this because, I'd rather kind of stick with the O scale and stuff
Power
like that.
through it a little bit,
just,
Matt.
just because, just because of the sheer amount of stuff that's available on HO. But going back to O, like I would have loved to see the Amtrak Turboliner made. I mean, I'm a huge, I like Amtrak, I like passenger travel, commuter stuff. And, that's just a really cool, unique, train set that Amtrak had made and ran over a few years. I believe it was like in the 70s, out of Chicago too, amongst other places. So that'd been pretty. That's something I think MTH would have done. Like that's something MTH would be like, oh yeah, we'll make a turbo liner.
Now that is specifically the Roar Turbo Liner, not the Turbo Train, correct? Just for some of our viewers who might be furiously clicking their keyboards, going, "MTH actually made the Turbo Train." It's like, no, he's talking about the Turbo.
We're talking
Liner.
the Turbo Liner, which was, it was taken from European design, and so Amtrak. I'm not going to go too deep down the rabbit hole into this, but Amtrak wanted to bring some European commuter styling. Over from Europe into the United States and kind of use that to, create this nice new commuter transport, passenger transport across, America. And that was kind of like what they wanted, what their, grand scheme was to do. Unfortunately, it was, it had a lot of mechanical issues and it lasted a few years. But I think that's when the dawn of the F40s and everything else kind of came into fruition and just kind of really dominated Amtrak travel after that.
Have you guys seen what those look like with the modernized Amtrak paint scheme on it? Because they look slick.
Oh,
they do. They look pretty cool.
I'm actually not a fan of it. I love the all white, the Phase 3. I mean, Phase 3 is always my favorite, so I'm always biased. But it's interesting. But I think the all white is classic.
That's the scheme I bought in HO. So I have the
cool.
Rapido Turboliner in all white. So they made the all white one. They made the black roof, and then I believe they also made the Phase 5 or Phase 6 as a fantasy scheme. And yeah, you're right. It does look pretty cool in that scheme.
Yeah, I just shared it with some of the hosts in our little chat here. But I will have to say I do have the love for the tri-band for Amtrak. I do like the rebuilt scheme a little bit better. The rebuilt ones or the home built ones with the more I guess angled nose. I think that looks a lot meaner than the more European style. But those are cool. I remember when you pulled that out in your layout for the first time, Matt, I was very impressed. Going more into like things that I kind of wish we had in O scale a little bit that I'm beyond envious for HO is two things. Both are diesels. One, I know we have our FP45s, but they are Rail King scale and their pilots leave a lot to be desired. I'm so jealous of the giant cast pilots that are iconic for those engines that you can see modeled perfectly in HO. I probably would like to see them made properly in scale. That's one thing that we've never really gotten. Even when they were full Premier models, that was back in the Proto 1 days. And the other one is the gas turbine. I know MTH has done the gas turbine, the UP gas turbine a couple of times. But I don't know. They always just seem so lackluster. Like the details were all molded in, and it just didn't have as much of this is a premium, high-end scale model. It's good, but I feel like it could be better. I'd love to see, ironically enough, as big of an MTH lover as I am, I'd like to see Lionel attempt it. I feel like they could hit it out of the ballpark if they acquired that tooling or tried to make one of their own. Matt, you have the Proto 2 version, don't you?
I do, and it's from Rochford. So thank you, Matt. Well, thank you to Chicagoland
Sure.
for doing a trade, and thank you, Matt, for selling it to them.
Yep.
But no, it was funny when he got that. I'm like, Matt, you want that? You let that go. I got to be the first to know. So needless to say, I never knew until it was for sale. But anyway, no, that's an engine. I love that thing. It's really cool. It's freaking loud. It's it's very nice. It's way better detailed than the Proto one. I'll definitely give you that. But it does need a little help. But I think as a general rule, it's pretty nice. But yeah, seeing Lionel do that, especially like the super bass or whatever they can do to make it really, just blow your doors off, that would be fantastic.
Give it the
I
upgraded
think that has a potential to be a really nice vision line model for
Oh,
sure.
definitely.
You
One
could
of the
fit a
things
lot
I
of
want to
stuff
do
in
to
there.
go ahead, John. Sorry.
I was gonna say you could fit a lot of stuff in there, like the cowl body,
Yeah.
the car body style diesel. You could do a lot of different features in that thing.
Oh yeah. One of the things I want to do to mine, and I'll get around to it at some point, is I want to PS3 the B unit, the one with the turbine in it, and have the lead engine only have the diesel sounds, and then put the veranda sounds in the B unit to have the turbine sounds, because the veranda sounds to me they got a little more power to them. So I would love to do that. So at some point I'll get around to that.
Yeah, those are very cool for sure. Um, on the touching on more items that are kind of more multi-scale in terms of things that a lot of us can chime in on. Matt, Z, you and I have very passionate feelings about these particular cars. The Southern Pacific Gallery cars that MTH had announced.
I don't have the slightest idea what you're talking about.
No, we've never had this discussion where we've been
No,
furious.
you
No.
kidding me? No.
Back in the day, I think it was. Do you think you wrote down the 2004 Volume 2 catalog? The MTH had announced a run of gallery cars, which is a miracle to see those announced to begin with. Matt, or I know you and I have also had many discussions of when the heck are they bringing gallery cars back.
Yep.
So they had announced a few road names, and one of the ones on there are two-tone SP gallery cars. Those are really iconic for the West Coast and the Bay Area. And you'd think that something as iconic as those for the West Coast would be made. But nope, MTH teased them. They never got made. And instead, we got Union Pacific gallery cars, of all things. Those got made.
And what's surprising was every single car in that spread got made but SP. So Beth Marshall to the rescue, and she came out with the Atlas or MTH or whatever color box they're going to be in, is the Southern Pacific Gallery Car 2-pack. They're in the all battleship gray, not the two-tone. But I ordered all 6, and I cannot wait. And I'm sure later on we'll touch on her as well, because we have another engine that you and I both you had, and thank you for selling it to me, which we'll touch on that later on. But no, I'm so happy they're made. And then you have a plan to make the two-tone gray. Is that correct?
Correct. In fact, we're going to touch on that topic now, Matt. So that time is now.
Okay. All right. Well, let's do it.
So the engines that Matt are referring to are the SP Trainmasters. So Beth had actually did, I believe, 2 custom runs, or at least 1. Where I think it was 2 though. The Trainmasters in the Bloody Nose scheme and in the Black Widow scheme. I had bought the Bloody Nose scheme and had sold it to Matt Z, and he's going to enjoy those with his future gallery cars. But the reason why Beth went with her with the all gray 1960s scheme is because that was to match with her custom run of Trainmasters. That was according to what she had said. I think either on her site or on OGR. That was the era that she personally witnessed and that she saw growing up. I think. Don't quote me on that. But that's why she went with that particular era. Not that I'm not a fan of it. That was a really cool era because you could see things for like Trainmasters pulling gray gallery cars with Harrimans, or SD40s pulling Harrimans, or eventually you saw Caltrain F40s pulling Harrimans in gallery cars. It was ridiculous to see the juxtaposition of that. But those are very cool engines. I do want to grab one of the Bloody Nose ones, and the reason being is, as Matt said, they didn't make the two-tone gray, much to my dismay, but I did order the solid gray ones. So I actually got a 2-pack of Amtrak gallery cars that are going to be repainted into that scheme, and these gallery cars are Amtrak, formerly owned by Matt Z for literally one day, and then previously owned by Matt R. So Matt R shipped them out to Matt Z. Matt opened the box, went, cool, put the box, closed the box, shipped it back to Chicago.
Mhm.
So they got to visit Matt for one day.
And all I did was take the lid off. I'm like, oh, these are cool. And funny, when I was getting out all the cars, it came in a shipment with the plated Santa Fe cars. And I'm like, what the heck is this? Oh, those are the gallery cars. So I'm like, okay, these are cool. And then it was after Johnny and I, we finalized a trade to for some stuff that he had that I wanted. So I'm like, oh, these are cool, but we'll move on from these. So open the lid and off they went. So but no, that's really cool. And funny enough, with the Train Master, where is it in my list here? It is here. 2018 Volume 2 for MTH. They cataloged a Bloody Nose Train Master, but never made it. So, again, Beth Marshall to the rescue again for that.
There you go.
So, thank you, Beth, if you're listening to this.
Yes, please keep making SP so I can
custom runs come in great. Johnny, I just got to say, man, how many times did you get pinged when those things were announced?
The day they were announced, I got a text from Lou first thing in the morning, and then I go into our Discord, and then I've got someone pinging me, and then I get another ping, and then I ping Matt Z, and then I get 4 other DMs. Literally everyone messaged me at once, and like, yes, I know. I've ordered them.
Johnny.
RJ pinged me to him to buy these or else.
That's right. We shamed you into buying them. I think you enjoy trading almost as much as you enjoy owning things, Matt.
Oh, definitely.
I don't know anybody that trades as much as you do.
Definitely.
And
you gotta
that's
keep
the way
it fresh.
to do it, though. That's the way to do it. You gotta, because it keeps the money out of it. If you can just trade stuff, technically no money is shifting hands, or very little is. So
exactly.
That's the way. And Johnny, I just thought of something. You mentioned something in your little discussion there on the cars there about something I think you would love. I mean, ready to run accurate SP green Harrimans, like 100% accurate.
I would kill someone for them.
Right?
I
would kill them for you.
Why do I have to go beg Scott Mann to do them constantly? Like, come on, Lionel. You were so close when you did the Grand Canyon set. You even said in your description these Grand Canyon cars are former SP commuter cars. Why not just release them in SP? You're almost there. That tooling for those cars, aren't those like a Reading tooling?
Yes, it's like a northeastern kind of like road specific journey. It's kind of Boston and Maine, kind of Reading. I think they are Reading prototypes. Yeah,
but they're so close to Harriman's.
It is.
I've been. Sometimes you kind of we were talking with Carmine about this topic earlier today. I think this is something that a lot of when people are like, oh, well, you do 3-rail. Why do you do 3-rail? It's not as accurate as blah blah blah. Well, why don't you get this in brass? It's a case where I think we tend to forget that, you could buy a brass model and have it be a beautiful shelf piece and run kind of okay. Or do you want a model, that's accurate, super accurate, and runs okay-ish? Or do you want a model that's close enough and does a good job, and you can guarantee will run with 100% certainty every single time? And it depends on the kind of, collector you are. Are you just a collector, or are you an operator collector? And I think for those who are more operators, like I think all of us are, I think that second option is what we look for. So,
oh yeah,
that's why I don't mind using a B60 with a Western Railroad on it as my baggage car. It saves me money, it'll run well, and I don't have to scour the internet looking for this one-off made by Golden Gate Depot a gazillion years ago.
Exactly. Yeah, we all have that little what do you call it? Kind of the gray area of what's acceptable to us. Because, and again, it might be even road to road. I'm super pedantic about some things, and the other things I'll be like, yeah, that's fine enough. So we all have our little, areas of what we like.
Sure.
The one thing to me that I've kind of adopted this is if a model is made in die-cast, whatever the engine is, I'd rather buy that than buy a brass one. Now it's taking me 3 engines to sell, trade, or whatever to figure this out. And after this last one I did, which was a Niagara, I'm like, you know what? I'm done with this. I need a die-cast. Fill in the blank. I need it. I'm not going to bother with brass. You know, if I can have the reliability of a die-cast drivetrain, by all means, I'm into it. So that's just kind of my forward thinking, I guess.
Yeah.
But no, I
Oh,
completely.
yeah, I'm the same way. Yeah,
I
100%.
completely get with what you guys are talking about for sure.
I guess we can go a little bit more broad now that we've talked about like the specifics of things that we've wanted to see happen. And obviously, there are plenty more items that we didn't cover, and maybe we can cover them in the future or later in the episode. So if you're listening to this episode and you think, "Hey, do you remember that you guys made they made this thing and they never released it?" We don't know everything that's ever made, so let us know. I always love learning about an item that I never knew got made, and maybe we can, bring it back up to the public's attention. Maybe ask some manufacturers, give it another go. So if that's something that interests you, join our Discord. Matt Z will be making a post on that exact topic, so let us know. But let's go a little bit broader about things that we just like to see made, or maybe a one-off that we like to see brought back. Is there any particular models that you guys were like, why don't we have this in an HO or O scale? Or when can we see this back again? It's been too long.
I got one.
Go for it.
And it's one that Rochford, I know I'm so jealous of. It's the Santa Fe Blue Goose in the D-skirted, high stack, get rid of all the side skirts, make it dirty and disgusting, what the Blue Goose isn't supposed to be. I love that. I love my as delivered. Thank you, DJ. But I want that de-skirted, end of life. I love that thing. I want it so bad. MTH, I need it.
That is one of those models where I would not mind a gazillion fantasy schemes on it.
It's so good. It works so well with so many schemes. Lehigh Valley. What else have they put that thing in?
New Haven, right?
New Haven, yeah. Other Santa Fe schemes. That's one of those toolings that's almost. It's so nice, and I'm with you too, Matsy. Just on different variations of streamliners in general. The de-skirting of lots of engines looks really good. We kind of get that a little bit with the Lionel New York Central Hudsons. It's one of the reasons that those are such good models, is that they have such a variety among them that you can model. But yeah, no, I'm 100% with you on that, man. I would kill for the later version of that engine in O scale.
Me too. I mean, you got the completely non-streamlined Hudson, which is beautiful in its own right. I want one of those too. But the streamlined Goose is just beautiful. And quickly circling back to your i5, was the Broadway Limited i5 that they just did in the Hunter Green. Oh, that is beautiful.
Yes, the fantasy scheme. You got HO is starting to almost outpace O in terms of some of the creativity of the models. I mean, we would have. I don't think we would have ever seen Weaver do that on a model. We would have had to. I'm going to try. I'm going to. If I ever end up with 3 i5s, I will put one into the Hunter Green scheme. Might even do the gold rods, the yellow rods like they showed in the artwork originally. That would be something.
Matt Matt R, are there any fantasy schemes HO's done that you've really liked, or ones that caught your fancy? You don't have to say if you own it or not.
Want to support your favorite O-Scale podcast and rock some awesome merch? Well, now you can. We've teamed up with Redbubble.com and have come up with a great selection of gear that you can get right now. They have everything from shirts, hoodies, stickers, mugs, bags, you name it. Heck, you could even get a wall clock with us on it. All this great stuff and more at Redbubble.com. Links are down in the show notes, so grab yourself some gear and rock some awesome podcast merch. Actually, I just got one in. I haven't gotten time to take a picture of it yet, but Broadway Limited did the Sharks, and they did some fantasy schemes in there. They did do Santa Fe in the Freight Blue. That's not the one I got. I actually got the World War II silver and yellow U.S. Air Force one.
That's really cool. Sharks are perfect for that.
And the Shark Nose Diesel. Yeah. Unfortunately, they didn't do any EJEs. A little disappointed that they didn't do those in the Shark Nose and the BLs, but they did an all green one, and they did this silver one, and I'll post a picture in a minute here in our group chat. But it looks really nice. It's really cool. I think this is actually, and I could be 100% wrong on this, but I think this is my first fantasy scheme in HO, believe it or not. And there's some HO is really starting to take that on as well. Like before, like HO used to be very, very much like, it's got to be prototypical. If it's not, don't make it. No one's going to buy it. But I think the HO manufacturers have finally caught on to the fact that, yeah, people have a lot of stuff, and that then they keep on buying the same things over and over again. And they have a large collection of black steam engines. They have a large collection of, diesel engines with the same road numbers. And maybe we should make something different to give people some different flavors. So I think HO has really caught on to the on the custom kind of fantasy scheme thing. But I'm trying to think of anything else. I don't believe I have anything else that's in a custom scheme for in HO, but I'm really enjoying this Shark Nose, and Broadway Limited did a really good job. But to bounce back on your original question, I would like to see Lionel redo their Interurbans. Because they did in the mid 2000 era, they did some Illinois Central. They did some, I think there were some Pennsylvania ones in there, some Pensy ones. And there may have been another, you can help me with this, Matt Z, but I think there was another road name too, but they were really, really cool Interurbans. They did a really good job. They looked nice. They had the pantographs.
They did New Haven and Long Island with pantographs. Get
Long
out.
Island. Okay.
No way. Do Long
Okay,
Island
well.
and pantographs go together?
Well,
but no.
Well, okay, maybe they weren't super prototypical, but at least the Illinois Central ones do have pantographs. So.
And they're pretty nice for what they are. I would love, I have the MTH MU cars, not to cut you off, but I have those, and they're great. The one thing they have that, I wish Lionel would give this a try is the station stops, the trolley mode. I really wish Lionel would give that a try, because
that would be cool
to me, I had the subways with it, and it was cool to have every stop along the route. The problem is it was all manual. You had to push the button and open the doors to hear the station sounds, which was annoying.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I have the MTH South Shore MU cars. So.
Wasn't that like the last thing you bought before you switched to HO?
Oh my God. When I saw those, I was just like, yeah, it is. And I don't think I could ever get rid of those, because those are just like, those in my CTA cars are just like, kind of like permanent fixtures in my collection. I don't have I have obviously let go of a lot of things, but I don't think I could ever get rid of those.
Have you ever ran those?
If you get rid of the pink train, I want it.
I know you want the pink CTA.
Yes,
train.
I do.
Dude, like in 5 years, that thing's going to be worth like $1 million or something.
That's exactly what he's going to charge you.
Yes.
Yeah. We can do a payment plan or something. So.
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that.
$100,000 a year for 10 years. Sure.
Easy credit right of $19.99.
You should bring those Interurbans down on Friday, Matt, when we all run at the bunker.
Actually, you know what? That's a good idea. I'm gonna dig. Well, I don't have to dig them out. I know where they're at, but that's actually a good idea.
Because we haven't seen you. I don't think you've yet to run something on the bunker that is yours. You haven't ran something since the 2.10.10.2. If that gives any reference to how long that's been. Yeah, I'd like to see those run.
Sure.
That'd be
Yeah,
fun.
it's a great option, man. You got the layout. You get the best of both, man. You got people with O scale layouts over there, and then you got your HO1 at home. You can double dip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right.
You dipped again.
You took a chip, you dipped it, put it in your mouth, and you dipped it again.
You dipped again.
I think kind of piggybacking off of your interurban comment, I would like to see Pacific Electric interurbans be done again. K-Line did them eons ago, and they're not particularly nice, if I'm being honest. After upgrading
Whatever do
mine.
you mean, Johnny?
Oh, I love C's trucks that don't turn and completely wrong paint schemes and the wrong colored roof. You know, I say this, John and I are joking because I have the Pacific Electric ones for K-Line. They're strictly conventional, and I upgraded them to Blue Nami, and they are phenomenal as Blue Nami. But cosmetically, they do leave a lot to be desired. They are, of course, first and foremost East Coast prototypes with a West Coast I'd say fantasy. The paint scheme is horrifically off.
Oh yeah, it's nowhere near correct.
After I looked more carefully, I'm like, oh, this is terrible. But it's good enough. Good enough for me. It represents what I'm trying to model. But I'd like to see someone attempt to make them a little bit nicer and more accurate. And then the other one that I've mentioned this in previous shows. I mentioned this when we had Lionel on as a passing joke comment, but I'd like to see this done properly, whether it be scale or semi-scale. When are we gonna get what is it called? The Bud car with the jets on the top, the Black Beetle. When are we gonna get that?
Oh yeah,
The pride of the Central. Oh my god, I think it still holds some sort of speed record. I can't remember. It was some very specific. You know those records that like it's completely made up because no one's ever going to be. Most bullfrogs held in eyes while snorting. Holding rulers up your nose. It's like. It's like, of course no one's going to beat. Of course you hold the record. No one else is doing that. Except the Russians, of course. But yes, the Americans put jet on train. We put the jet on train too. Go much faster. We will not scrap train though. Only leave in yard to rust for 40 years after use one time.
yeah. I mean, Lionel did that in 2010, and never again.
Yeah, but it's
Yep.
conventional, and no hate to the conventional guys because it's fun. But like, if you want to have a broader market, like especially with the LC 2.0 stuff, like
Oh,
come
yeah.
on, Lionel, bring the tooling back if you can. Even if it's like a line chief model, people would love
Put lights in there. You could sell the heck out of that.
It would do so well, and you guys have been doing so much work with like custom sounds for that, where
Yep.
it's more play value. Come on now.
Think of the road names you could put on it. You could put everything under the sun under it. Because they did the Fantasy Rock Island one too, which I think was almost better than the New York Central one.
Mhm.
And that might be blasphemy saying that, but man, that thing looked good in that Rock Island paint.
You could
With the rocket on the side, the E8 scheme. It's like, come on, Lionel.
it
Do it
writes
again.
itself. Come on, you could even put it in your Area 51 stuff or your Hot Wheels line. Imagine that.
And they should pay you for some of these things, Johnny. You're giving them great ideas.
Well, if I'm getting great ideas, they should bring back the
Johnny Rocket.
Johnny Rocket.
Dude,
trademark that right
gives me an
now.
idea. And by the way, that's a fantastic restaurant if you haven't been there.
It is a great restaurant.
Yeah, it's a good restaurant in Fallout too.
It is.
No, it's Red Rockets.
Red
actually.
Rockets. Yeah, close enough. Fallout Train. There you
Yeah.
I want the nuclear big boy from Fallout released. I want my. Yeah, look that up if you haven't seen a picture of that thing. You want to talk about some Soviet-looking thing? Oh my god!
So many weird trains from that franchise, but yeah, there's a lot that would be another cool item. I don't know if we asked John. Did you have any models that you want to see done specifically that haven't been done yet?
Oh, yes, I do. I have nothing road specific, but I've always maintained that we have a deficit in the hobby of good, like modernized, smaller turn of the century steam. So, like for example, like a 440 or a 10 wheeler that was built maybe like in the 1900s and lasted into like the 40s or 50s. Like for example, kind of like the 10-wheeler that Bachmann makes, which I will admit is fills in a nice little gap. It's kind of lacking in detail though. If you've seen one, it looks like a model that was made in the 90s. It's very much a high rail model. I have yet to get one. I want to get at least one and try detailing it up and seeing how that turns out. But I think the hobby could really use some sort of very generic, akin to what we were just talking about a week or so ago, which was the very generic Atlas Former Weaver consolidation that's coming out. Something like that fills a very good niche that you could put it in every road name under the sun with very minimal detail changes, headlight position, pilot type, maybe if you're even bold enough, maybe some rod variation. But something like that, like a modernized 440 or 10-wheeler would be extremely, extremely good for the industry. I don't care who makes it, even if it's in brass. I just think we need them. We just have a sort of a gap where we're back. We kind of do what the movie studios would do sometimes. We backdate the bigger engines. We kind of saw that a little bit. Now, to be fair, it was done quite well in the new Lionel catalog, where they backdated the aforementioned F12E 10-wheeler into some schemes, and it did look good. But we kind of have that trend of backdating engines that we could see some improvements on, I think, by having, again, think about it. You could put it in every road name under the sun, especially a 10-wheeler. That's the one I always push for. Or again, the 440. You could put that in all kinds of different stuff with minimal modifications. Do a brass hybrid run. I know, we've had some issues with brass hybrids in the past, but I think it's 100% worth it. Look at how happy everybody is with their 90s. Do you ever hear people complaining about those? No, because they spent so much time on them. They turned out to be fantastic models. So, rant over. I think that's what I think. I'll get off my soapbox. I think that's what we really need in the industry right now.
I think you just remind me of some models that were one-offs from Lionel and MTH that I think would be really fun to be brought back. One for us Santa Fe guys, the brass hybrid Santa Fe steam locomotive that they did. Was it the Mikado?
The Mikado.
Please bring that back.
Yes. Yes.
That's really nice.
Please bring that back and then put a better Santa Fe whistle in it, please. Like, there's a lack of Santa Fe freight steam engines.
There are.
They just don't exist in O-scale.
Hudsons and Northerns. That's all that Santa Fe had was Hudsons and Northerns.
Hudsons, Northerns, and Texas.
Texas, yes.
Yeah.
Like, you want small Santa Fe steam locomotive that isn't just like a switcher from the Pennsy recolored. Good luck.
All switchers were made by the Pennsy.
Switchers were made by the Pennsy. Yeah, you have like was it the engine they use for the Flyer, except it's in the Flyer scheme. So if you want it in black, good luck.
Yeah.
All Pacifics were USRAs.
Yeah. Being no USRA Pacific, anyone?
Hey, don't throw shade. That thing's amazing. I love it.
I know. I need one for your cars.
Yes, you do.
But real quick, one that I want to see made, and John, I know you kind of have the same sentiment to this, is a little thing, Pennsy DD1, maybe? I don't know.
I mean, I'm happy with mine. I kind of see. Okay, this is me being.
I love mine too, but
once we have it, then it's like, now we're good. Like, that's such a good model. It almost. What are they going to improve on? Like, realistically, I mean, apart from PS3, can you really improve that tooling? It's a really good tooling.
I tell you, the tooling is beautiful, and the sounds on this are bar none unlike anything else we've ever seen before or since with these. With the 4 different PFAs on the key, it is just the coolest thing ever, and it's one of those that I don't even know how to put it into words. It's just one of those engines that is just so cool. You almost got to see one in person and own it to be like, yeah, this thing is.
That's what I said. It was like, it wasn't until I held it in my hand that's what convinced me.
I doomed you with it.
I know. Yeah, I knew it was going to happen. But I think one that would be cool to see personally, just because I don't even want one. I just think it's a cool model. Is the what is it? The L something L oh god, what is the designation? L. Come on, Matt, help me out. Was it L?
L5.
L3A?
Yes. Yes.
L5,
Yes. Yes.
huh?
Yes. The
El Diablo.
yeah, the Penzi one, the big crocodile looking one.
Oh yeah, the one
Penzi El
with the
Yeah, the
Diablo.
the one with
L5. That's it. L5.
the L5, yeah, the one with the pantograph on the top. So
Yes.
interesting story about that one. That one was cataloged in 2004 and it was made. It was on the cover of 2019. What was it? 2019 Volume 1. It's kind of bad when an engine that was on the cover never got made, but it was made once, so it's out there. PS2 3-volt, I think. It's either 3-volt or transition era 5-volt. But in any event, it's out there. Go get it. But yeah, it'd be cool to see one again.
One that I think, kind of touching back on a model that Matt Z had mentioned earlier in the show, that I'd like to see redone, not only because there's a demand for it, but also because there's a paint scheme I want to see it done in. The Unshrouded J. I want to see that back, but I want to see it done in the Freedom Train paint scheme. And I'm not talking about like the Daylight Freedom scheme. I mean like the one that Lionel did for the J for 611. The reason why I say that, for those who are unfamiliar, if you go back and you look at the original Freedom Train concept art, when they did feature the J, it did have 611, but they featured 611 as an unshrouded J, and that paint scheme on the full, streamlined J, for me, it looks really weird. I'm not really a fan of it.
I second that.
When it's on an unshrouded J, though, it just looks right. It works so much better, and I feel like if they had the opportunity to do that on a unshrouded J, it looked fantastic. The opportunity is there. It's just a matter of, one, where the heck is the tooling, and two, can we get it back again and try it again?
I'm telling you, that Unshrouded is one of those that is very utilitarian steam engine. Nothing like 611, even though it's the same engine. You put all that streamlining on, it's completely different.
It is. It's hard to tell it's even the same class.
Speaking of utilitarian engine, where's my 482 UP Mountain? Come on, MTH. What
Bro,
the heck?
I was waiting for you to
where is that? Where? I want
Road
that.
spec-
When
yeah,
I saw
road-
that in the book, I was like, we need this thing. Where is it?
Road specific mountains. Very, again, Johnny. Oh, I feel so. The poor elusive Johnny and his black MT.
All I can find is just Daylight MTs and two rail ones.
They mock you.
Literally, how many did we see at the two rail show, John?
The antithesis of what you want: two rail and not black.
There's like at least, at minimum, at the two rail show, 3.
Oh yeah, and once you buy one, once you find the one you want, then they'll be everywhere. Then you'll be swimming in black MT listings.
I'm gonna scream. I'm gonna scream.
It's like when you find a car in a video game, a unnamed video game, but you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly they spawn everywhere because you got near the car.
You know, Johnny, you're on the SP topic. Another one that I was surprised that was cataloged but not made was the SP 845.
Actually, it was made.
Really?
I saw what I think. You think I remember his name because Burnsy says it every 5 minutes. He says it more than H21. What's his buddy? Jimmy. Didn't Jimmy have one? Didn't he have one at York this year? Or last year? John? I swear I saw one.
I am the wrong person to ask that now. But now that you say that,
because you were with me when it was there.
Yeah, I feel like we did see that, didn't we?
By the big garage doors, by that really nice layout. By
845 is the UP one, right?
Yeah, the one with the patch.
Yeah, it was made. Yeah, I took a photo of it for you because I was like, you were like, oh my god, it's the thing.
Really, I thought that was canceled. Cool. No kidding.
No, I saw it in person in New York.
Nope, we did.
Wow, you learn something new every day.
Yes, indeed.
I will scratch it off the list.
Well,
I mean, I had no clue it existed until Johnny pointed it out to me, and I didn't even know what the real thing was. I was like, what is this?
Yeah, for those who don't know, this was for the Puget Sound doubleheader done with 844 and 4449. And as a bit of a gag between the crews, they had patched 4449 to be Union Pacific 845, and they had done, I think, the same job for 844. They had learned it for the Southern Pacific. I've seen a couple photos of that when it did it, but that was like on an obscure website from 10 years ago, so I could never find it ever again. But if you look up, there's a very well done like hour-long documentary on YouTube for the Puget Sound doubleheader. There's a scene where they're just filming Doyle McCormick sticking his head out of the cab and just happily slapping that sticker on the side of the engine, and it's very cool to see. So I'm glad that MTH did attempt to model that. It's a simple patch job, and it's a very specific excursion to model. But for anybody who wants it, it's there. It's rare as the dickens, but it does exist.
Looking for something different? Need a gift for a fellow rail fan? Well, folks, look no further. NPL Customs is your source for all railroading decor. Handcrafted, made in the USA, and veteran-owned. Their products made for rail fans, by rail fans. I personally have a set of coasters from them that I absolutely love. Find them on Etsy at NPL Customs and use code MMPodcast at checkout to save 10%. NPL Customs, quality since 2017. I love finding out about stuff like that because, it's so fun learning. I've always said this, I learn so much through these models because I always maintain I don't have a super great knowledge of like the models that have been made. I know about some prototype stuff, but like you guys are like leaps and bounds ahead in terms of like knowing about the models' history themselves. So I always love learning about that kind of stuff from you guys.
Yeah, same here. I am not an expert when it comes to models like that and the insides and outs, but yeah, you guys definitely have a great amount of knowledge to share.
Hey, Johnny.
What's up?
Now imagine this. You've got one boomer on here. Could you imagine if Tim was on here right now with this?
Oh
my God. Him and I would be having a field day.
It would just be you guys.
Matt R, John, and I would just give you the recording studio keys, just tell you to lock up when you're done.
I would just put one of those big cardboard, like not even the fact that you can't even see me, obviously. None of us can see each other right now, but like I would still put a big cardboard cutout of myself in my chair in front of my mic that would just say, like, I don't know, John catchphrase it would just say New York Central occasionally and SpongeBob quotes and just things of that nature.
Not a timer, so just random.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right. There you go.
There you go. That's where I am, Gary.
That's what we'll have to do for you, Matt Z. If you don't get to York this year,
yes.
We'll put a cardboard cutout of you at our stand at York.
Yep.
We'll have you on one of those. What are they called? The rolling like iPad stick things.
We're gonna announce it too. You're like, come get your picture with Matt Z.
Yeah, right.
And people will take the most unique pictures with your cutout.
We'll just be doing a meet and greet, talking with people. It's like, what do you think, Matt Z? Press a button. Anchovies. I mean,
I'm putting him on a remote control too.
I'm walking
He's
here.
like an RC car. Be able to drive him away.
Look, he's experiencing York. We'll put a little GoPro on him. That way he can be able to see you and experience the show. No, let's make sure you get to the show so we don't have to resort to 2D Matt, please.
You're coming.
I like that idea.
Yes.
I like that idea.
You are getting down there with us. Johnny, real quick, you brought up our friend Burnsy there, and that of course led me back to Weaver because he's like our Weaver. He's our connection. Talking about canceled things, let's talk about canceled companies for a second and all the stuff that therein we lost potential from, because I mean Weaver, right off the top of my head, I can thank our good friend Sid and his lamentations. The Potomac, the Western Maryland Potomac that was canceled from them that they were going to be making. I mean, isn't that just the worst one? Like, like, oh yeah, we were going to. It's kind of like how in a dream when you get something really, really cool, like you win something or meet some celebrity, and then you wake up and you can't take the thing with you. It's like, I had the potential. I had it there in my hand. It was going to happen, and then it was taken away. Like, that's almost worse when you knew it was going to happen.
I've had that happen, and like I hate that feeling so much. It was literally I had a dream where the most nerd train dream ever. It's like I had gotten like I think a cab forward. I was so excited to run it. I was literally in the dream walking down the stairs to go to the basement and run the train. I woke up. I'm like, "Where's my cab?" Oh,
Oh, you ever try to go back into the dream? You're like, oh no, I'm going back.
all the time.
You
Dude.
try to get back. You trying to get back into the dream. You're like, no.
Take me back.
I remember Eric of Merck's Trainz always had really cool Weaver videos and just engines that he got from Weaver. And this was obviously near the end of Weaver, but I wasn't really into scale stuff at that time. But now I'm kind of like regretting it because I'm like, man, Weaver just made this really awesome looking engines, and I do own a Weaver engine. I have one of their older Santa Fe VO 1000s. I still have it somewhere.
That'd be a great Blue Army
I
upgrade.
think.
Those are good models.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, I did.
speaking of that, not to cut anybody off, but that SW8 or 9, whatever the heck the thing is, that I got from you, man. That's a nice little engine. I like that little.
Yeah, I think it's an SW1 actually, the Santa Fe one.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's nice. But you're talking about the Santa Fe switchers, so. But thank you for that.
Yeah, anytime. I mean, good thing Atlas is still around.
Exactly.
Yeah. They're still going around. Hey, maybe
Thank
we'll see one of those with
Yeah.
Proto 3. You never know.
Yeah.
That's true.
We haven't even seen. I mean, what else could they have? I mean, they could have even more stuff we don't know about.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
that's
true.
actually a good point.
Well, going back to two things John said. One, for the Potomac. If you want to see true heartbreak in a man's eyes, I wish the viewers could have seen Sid when he saw more than one two-rail Potomac sitting at the two-rail show.
Oh, it was so sad.
He was like I think Sid said that he was on the, if I hadn't peer pressured him to buy a Vision Challenger earlier that weekend, he would have bought the two-rail one.
Oh yeah, he would have absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And then the other thing, John, that you mentioned, like the feeling of, oh yeah, we were going to make it, but we never did, or they never got a chance to. This isn't nearly as heartbreaking as a Potomac, because we have a gazillion of these, and I've owned a gazillion of these. But K-Line's Daylight. I am a huge fan of their passenger cars. I think they're some of the best out there, aside from Golden Gate Depots. They put MTH and Lionels to shame. And I love them to pieces, but there's one little problem. There is no GS4 that matches those colors. There's a semi-scale one, but it's okay if you're into semi-scale. It's great for a semi-scale, but if you're into a scale, it's not going to do the job for you. It's the tender height matches literally nothing. You could use the E8s that they made, but they're kind of dated at this point. So your only option to get a GS that matches that paint scheme is not going to be Lionel. It's not going to be MTH. It's not going to be Williams. It's going to be Third Rail. They're the only ones who have made an engine that matches the paint scheme in terms of a Northern. The frustrating part, if you look at K-Line's catalogs and even their billboards that they've made, they were going to make a scale GS4. It's in all the catalogs, it's in all the billboards and promotional art,
man.
but they got shut down before they could release it because of their own quirks that K-Line had when it came to Lionel. So before they got a chance to release it, it had a product number and everything. Company closed.
Oh, that's awful. Oh, it was right there too.
It's so frustrating. I go into a hobby shop, I'm like, oh look, there's a K-Line cat. Oh,
that's so sad, dude. And off on a quick tangent, you just reminded me of something. Williams, Bachmann, release your engines in more than 4 paint schemes. Give us more 70-tonners that aren't like Tropicana and Canadian National. Please, you have such a niche model. Release more of them.
It's so frustrating when you can see the potential with the road names and they just don't do it.
Honestly, but yeah, man, no, I didn't even know that they were planning on doing a scaled Daylight. That's horrific that you were robbed of that.
Well, I think Matt R., you and I talked about this very briefly before the show started. You know, we are lovers of gallery cars, and we for as long as we've been friends, we complained that we would never see gallery cars again. Of course, Atlas has changed that opinion immediately after you switched to HO.
Oh yeah, right
come
away.
on, Alice. I know.
But
we were waiting.
It's like a shiv in my back.
right, not only do they do gallery cars, they do Metro for the racetrack.
It's like when you move away and then all the cool stuff comes into your neighborhood. It's like, really? Now's when you
figures
finish
as
the
much.
construction on the road?
Right.
Yeah.
But speaking of K-Line, K-Line announced K-Line did their Metra F40, which is, you know, a very nice model. The red is a bit weird on it, but it's still a very nice model, and I owned one for a very long time, and technically, Matt, or you still own one.
I do.
But once you see a K-Line 21-inch scale gallery car, you cannot look at the MTH ones the same ever again. And K-Line made some beautiful Chicago Northwestern ones, and they had cataloged Metro ones as well. And I don't think the Metro ones ever got made, which is such
No.
a shame.
Yep.
When you showed me those, man, like you guys showed me what those cars look like. Holy cow, y'all were robbed of that. Oh my god.
Well, without going into going too in depth on this, John, I think you might know what I'm referring to. I believe there's a very high demand for a certain commuter rail system that's near you. Without going too in depth.
No.
Would you-
I know. The instant you said gallery cars, the words literally got it in my head, and I've made my peace with it. I haven't, but yeah, it's yeah. No, let's just label your products the way of what they actually are.
Well, just so we can give some context, what railroad are you referring to? Maybe we can garner some more support for maybe
Virginia
a future
Railway
run.
Express, my local commuter line, and Mark as an extension of that, Maryland area rail commuter as well, Mark line. They have gotten, I think, one product of each has been released, maybe two for Mark, by either MTH or Atlas, and then nothing else ever again. Apparently there might be some licensing stuff. They just don't want to license their stuff out. But like, you know, one of companies sometimes worried about that, honestly. I don't care. Break rules for me. It's okay. It's okay when it's for me. Yeah, no, just, it was a case of something was touted to be one thing, and then it ended up not being that. And the logic behind it was a bit, unique, to say the least. Not technically wrong, but just a unique perspective. As James May would say, that's a very polite way of saying wrong. Your logic, Jeremy, is different than other people's. That's a very polite way of saying wrong. So yeah,
it's nice to know what that acronym means now, because I wasn't sure what that.
I wasn't
meant.
sure
really?
what Mark. I
Which
was
one
sure
for
what
Mark?
I always thought.
yeah, I'm
I always
pretty
thought it
sure.
was some guy, you know, like maybe they're in the office somewhere, and they're like, "Hey, what should we put on these commuters?" And Mark's like, "Hey, how about Mark?" You know?
This is our
How
rail
about my
commu-
name?
Yeah, this is our rail commuter system, Jeff.
Keep it really simple there on the East Coast.
Yeah, we take the Kevin into the city all the time.
No, Johnny, you know what's sad?
What's that?
Is that why do you guys get the cars that they're doing is the 611 scheme? Why do you guys get it twice, and we don't get our two-tone gray bi-levels?
I know.
You know,
because
you guys get it twice.
611,
You know,
because 611 is the daylight of the East, and anything
Yes.
you put into its scheme will be sold no matter what.
mm-hmm. It's really too bad, though. In all seriousness, I really feel bad for you. Enjoying this week's topic? You can join in on the conversation too on our community Discord server. We have a lot of different discussion channels, ranging from showing off your collection, discussing the latest and greatest in the industry, a buy and sell forum, and even a voice channel where you can hop on call and talk trains with us late into the night. We're a little over 300 strong, and we'll love to have you join us too. Check out the invite link to our community Discord down in the show notes. Read and acknowledge the rules, and introduce yourself and start chatting. We have a great team of moderators who make sure all are welcomed and respected. So what are you waiting for? Come on down and join us in on the fun, and let's talk some trains.
I mean, I'm happy for the 611 guys. They're getting according to what I've heard, they're getting a very correct car for what they need. It's just the fact that I was catfished, and so were some of my other friends by this by this listing. It was just like it's like, oh, really? It was too good to be true. I knew it, but hey, now I just have to do a custom run myself.
Hey, that's it.
Somehow,
That's
either
how you
paint
do
them
it.
up or get somebody else to do it. So
Exactly.
You know what you
do it
gotta do?
yourself.
You gotta find those horrible Union Pacific bi-levels
Oh,
and
jeez.
paint those into
Oh,
Mark or VRE. There you
oh
go.
god,
What? Why did they make why did they make those? I don't understand.
Because they wanted SP and we didn't get them, so they changed Southern into
I just
Union.
don't
Right,
understand. Why would you pick UP?
they saw the
Like,
logical thing. Where
look,
like, all right,
I love UP. Why would you? Why would you make UP gallery cars?
what's the opposite of what people want? That's what we'll do.
I just exactly like because that's what I think of when I think gallery cars. Union Pacific that says gallery all over it.
Wyoming doesn't scream commuter service.
No, it doesn't.
It's one that I'm actually, now that we're thinking about it, and it's because I saw I was scrolling through my album of saved train pictures that we all have somewhere on our phones, whether we like to admit it or not.
Album singular.
So with BNSF, they have a very iconic business train. The streamlined silver cars and such. One of the most iconic cars that even was used in terms of the BNSF executive train with 4449 was the BNSF gallery cars. They're converted gallery cars with the big windows that were former SP. I'm really surprised that no one made those BNSF gallery cars for the executive train.
That's a good point.
Maybe someone can do that later down the line within the next 20 years when we get gallery cars again.
Yep.
But lots of cool what ifs, and we should probably wrap it up. Otherwise, this is a topic that I know we can go on for literal hours on.
Oh yeah, we can definitely like if people like this, just like with the streamliners and stuff. We're going to do another show on at some point. We can always come back to this topic. I mean, there's tons of stuff to talk about.
100%.
For sure. And
yep.
What I'll do is I'm gonna put the list out. I'll just make a Google Doc or whatever, and you guys can chime in. Put your own stuff you wish you would have seen made, or correct my list. I'm sure there's something I, may have screwed up on that was made or wasn't made that should or should not be on here. So definitely feel free to edit it. And like Johnny with your Southern Pacific steam engine, I had no idea that was even made. I just thought it was something that was, talked about, but hey, who knew?
There you go. So yeah, we'll throw it out to you guys in the community. Let us know on the community Discord on either the episode listing or in in the general chat. Let's have a cool discussion about it because I love learning from you guys, and this is definitely a topic that if you guys like it, we can touch back on it again. But with that being said, our stop is coming up here, so it's time to wrap up. Matt R, I'm gonna throw the show back over to you if you wanna take us home, man.
Yeah, well, speaking of our amazing community, of course, let's go ahead and take a moment to shout out to those fantastic people who boosted the server, helped us keep the lights on here at the Miniature Models Podcast Discord server. Tim's Trainz. I see some new people on this as well. Blue Comet Fan 833, Maddie C. Trainz, Pinewood Railroad. Welcome, Pinewood Railroad. Commodore Ghost Ninja, Bill B. Good old Bill B. The Rambles. SDIV_Tim. Hard work pays off. It sure does. Dashing Dan's Trains. Every Day is Life. And SD70 Train Fan. And I see a lot of folks on there that have been on here for quite a while. So thank you very, very much for boosting the server. I don't think a lot of people know like what boosting does, but it actually makes the server, it adds so much quality of life to the server. Lets us post, bigger files, longer videos, lets us have like the animated backgrounds and stuff like that and some cool emotes. So it really does add a really nice kind of quality of life changes to the server. So thanks again for those server boosters. We appreciate it. All right. Well, again, we really appreciate everyone who's given back to the server here. We appreciate everybody on the Discord server as well, in the chats, in the posting your photos, posting your YouTube videos. Tonight was a great night, guys, and I really appreciate you guys as well. I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for you other hosts either. So I want a big thanks out to you guys.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm awesome. I know.
Yeah,
We are
pleasure's
kinda
all
cool.
ours. We, I love doing this. So always a ton of fun.
Yeah,
Inner-
you guys make this awesome.
Inner Jerry Seinfeld monologue. My mother was right.
You guys can
I am special.
you guys can PayPal me later for saying
No,
that.
but man, I always love coming on here. Like every night, whenever we're getting ready to do this, I'm always excited the day before, looking forward to the podcast. Like, oh, what stuff we're gonna talk about? What good discussions? Because when we do this, this is just fun, natural discussion for us.
For sure. I always say this. It's a case where it's not. We all make YouTube here, but I think one of the things that we miss out on YouTube is everything's so quick, and you want to show everything in a flashy way and retain people's attention. You don't really get a chance to get to know people's personalities behind the screen, like you would hear on the podcast. When you're having that kind of trained discussion with everybody, it's like sitting in a room, we're all chatting, and you get to be part of that conversation with us, even if you're just listening or maybe if you're commenting on the Discord. So that's one of the advantages of podcasting, and I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
Absolutely.
Agree, 100%.
1,000%.
And just a quick tidbit here: we are over 400 members on the Discord
Oh my
server.
gosh.
I gotta
So that
update
is
my
awesome.
ad. I got 300 on there still.
Yeah, you did update the ad.
That's true. Come on, Matt, you're behind.
I
on the
know, yeah.
times. But by the time you get to 400, we're going to be at 500.
Yeah, right.
Matt
It's
Z's
been 84 years.
Matt Z's ad is, if you want to get in contact with us, fax us.
Yes, right there you go.
All right. Well, speaking of faxes, let's go ahead and do our outros. So, Mr. John S., where can people find you on the internets?
You can find me on Instagram at RetroMikado96 and on YouTube at RetroMikado. Thank you so much.
Johnny, how about yourself?
You can find me on YouTube at Audamus, AUDAMUS. You can find me working on my next video that is almost done, where I show off formerly Matt R's TMCC crane car. So there was an accident on the Jordan Nova sub recently where 3 cars hit the ground, and we need to put them back on the track before the city of San Francisco smashes into it. So if you want to see how that goes, if it ends in success or disaster, subscribe to my YouTube channel to check that video out. You can also find me on Instagram at Audamus_Trainz and Facebook at the same name as well. I usually post some teasers for new videos and some fun photos of the layouts. Last but not least, you can find me on the Miniature Models Podcast Community Discord, where I am reading and responding to all your posts and making a fool of myself in the voice chat. So come on down. It's lots of fun.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to that video there, Johnny. That sounds really cool.
You just want to see a train wreck.
That's exactly what it is.
Bread and circuses.
Matt Z, how about yourself?
You can find me on YouTube under Matt-Trainlover9943, Facebook under the same name, Instagram Matts.hobbies, and just like Johnny said, in the Miniature Models Discord server. Always a ton of fun, and like I said, I'll be sure to post the list that I compiled for this in probably the episode chat is probably the best place it'll be. But yeah, so definitely come on down and have a lot of fun. Always.
Yep. And you can find me on YouTube at WC Model Railroad. I'm on Facebook at WC Model Railroad and Instagram at WC Model Railroad. Really quickly, it is May 1st. So depending on when this goes out, I do want to wish all the other Star Wars fans out there, May the 4th be with you. We're a couple days away from that. So I thought I'd kind of give that announcement. And of course, just wanted to give a big thanks to all our listeners. And if you can, we would really appreciate any kind of feedback that you can give. A lot of these podcasting apps allow you to give like feedback and stars and stuff like that. Really helps us drive the podcast into the algorithm. Lets people know about us, and we would really appreciate a small amount of your time if you could just kind of like fill out a review and let us know, what you think about us. And if we really do just talk about subways,
We do.
but
And and for us East Coasters, it's already May 2nd.
That's may the second be
That
with
is-
you. Okay.
Right, John?
I'm always a fan of Revenge of the Sixth, personally.
Let us know in the comments who is the most attractive host. There you go.
Whose voice is the smoothest?
Well, that's Matt R. That's not even
Yeah,
fair.
he's Matt R.
Yeah,
He's got the NPR voice.
There's no debating that one.
No, it is.
Well, I appreciate that, guys. All right. Well, with that said, everybody have a wonderful night.
Take good care, everyone.
Take care, everyone.
See you guys.